What's going on, beautiful people? Daniel Magyar in the building. Today we're going to go through a pretty sad email where our brother lost $450K due to a young girlfriend. And that's a pretty brutal loss. I mean, especially when you consider this has been his entire life savings. But before we start, you can find my services at dmprotrainer.com. You can book a one-time consultation where we can go through either the big three: health and fitness, finances, or relationships. Or you can join my program, 1, 3, or a 6-month coaching program. And also, if you guys are looking for the best beef in the country, grass-fed, grass-finished, dmbeef.com is going to deliver beef right to your door. We ship nationwide into every single state. Also, my book, Weight Loss Without Plateau, is available on Amazon if you guys are looking to learn the methods that I've been applying into my dietary programs. By that being said, let's start with today's email. I am 55 years old, and until a few years ago, I would have described myself as careful, rational, and disciplined. I worked as an accountant in Ohio over 30 years. Numbers were my language. Risk was something to be minimized, not embraced. I balanced other people's finances for a living, yet somehow I lost control of my own. You know why? Because feelings got involved. And feelings and finances, they don't go well together. It's always a separate thing. You never make financial decisions based on your emotions. This is how I lost $450,000 to a young woman in Thailand, and how I knew deep down that something was wrong long before I admitted it. After my divorce, my life became very small. Work, home, television, sleep. I had colleagues, but not real friends. My evenings were quiet in a way that felt heavy, not peaceful. I told myself I was fine, that this was just what life looked like at my age. But I was lonely, and loneliness makes you careless in ways you don't notice until it's too late. One evening, I was scrolling through Facebook and I received a message from a woman named Anya. She said she was from Thailand and wanted to practice her English. Her profile picture was a young woman, maybe mid-20s, smiling softly. I almost ignored it. Almost. Instead, I replied, "I'm Robert. I live in Ohio." That single decision changed everything. She was attentive in a way that felt intoxicating. So, up till this point, there's nothing wrong. You're just talking to a chick who hit you up on Facebook. She asked about my job, my childhood, my favorite food. No one had shown that level of interest in me for years. When I told her I was an accountant, she said, "That makes you very smart and responsible." That compliment landed harder than it should have. Well, she's hidden the right feelings, because every single man wants to feel like a hero. Every single man wants to feel like a woman is looking up to him. So she's saying the right stuff to make you feel like a hero. We started talking every day. Messages in the morning, long chats at night. After a week, she asked if we could video call, but said my camera quality looked blurry. The next day, I went to Best Buy and I purchased a new smartphone so I can talk to her for $1,200. I told myself it was overdue anyway. When she saw me clearly on a video, she smiled and said, "Now I can really see you." That moment alone felt worth all the $1,200 I spent on this phone. A couple of weeks later, she mentioned her phone was old and unreliable. I didn't even feel like I was being asked. I ordered her a new iPhone and paid $1,450, including international shipping. Bro, she's a chick from Facebook. Okay, you're already buying her iPhone for almost $1,500. You never seen her. She hasn't even kissed you. You don't even know her circumstance. She might be married, and this is just how she does things, you know. She's hanging out with guys online. She finds out they're lonely. She probably has 20 of you messaging her, and she's trying to get as much money as possible. You can't send a gift to a woman you never seen before. Gifts, you only give to girlfriends and wives. That's it. You don't give gifts, material gifts or money to the girls you're just dating with. Not happening. You're too kind, she said. No one ever takes care of me like this. Right. You're my hero. That phrase, takes care of me, became a theme. Soon, there was always a problem. Her internet service was about to be cut off. It's $120. Her laptop stopped working and she needed it for her online work. $2,300. She wanted to enroll in a digital marketing course to improve her future. $1,800. Oh my God. You're already $5,500 in, total with the iPhone included, and you never even seen her. Loneliness make men dumb. Loneliness can make people so stupid they don't even know what they're doing. That's horrible. Each request was framed as temporary, reasonable, and connected to self-improvement. I sent the money every time. I remember thinking, this isn't reckless. I can afford it. I had savings. I had retirement funds. And you were paying for a female attention. That's what's happening. You're paying for the phone calls. And more importantly, I had purpose again. She began calling me my love. She thought about the future, about how one day we could live together. When she said, "You already feel like my husband," something inside me locked into place. So this is what's dangerous about a man who doesn't know how to walk alone on his journey, like Stoicism teaches. He will seek validation, he will seek approval, he will seek love, he will seek pat on the back, he will seek the feeling of being a hero for a woman, and he will do anything for it, just to purchase that feeling. And he doesn't even know it yet. But when you're lonely and when you're so emotional and you can't walk alone in your life, you're going to do stupid things like this. Exactly, because you just can't state the fact that being alone is actually a very peaceful state. You feel like it's a punishment. You feel like there's something wrong with you. You don't appreciate the peace that you have by yourself, and you don't have happiness within. That's why you're constantly seeking happiness and validation from the outside world. When I mentioned visiting Thailand, her tone changed. She said her aunt was sick and in the hospital, and the bills were overwhelming. I wired $9,500 for hospital expenses without asking for documentation. When I canceled my flight, which cost me $2,400 non-refundable tickets, I told myself it was the right thing to do. The emergencies escalated. A motorbike accident, $6,700. Yeah, right. What motorbike is she riding? She's riding a scooter for $2,000 at the most. That's a brand new. What probably happened, her scooter is like $300, and she inherited that from her older brother. Like, that's why I'm saying, guys, it's very important that a man is always logical and rational and doesn't act upon his feelings. And first of all, he comes in peace and finds happiness within. You got to be peaceful and happy within so you don't fall for this. We're already a tremendous amount of money that our brother Robert is sending to this chick he never seen before. And when he wanted to visit her, she switches the narrative. Oh, I can't right now. She'll do anything she can to prevent him from coming to see her, because then he would see the reality as it is and that she's naturally in love with him. She probably has three other guys that she's playing this game with. A business opportunity, importing clothes, $18,000. Customs fees holding the shipment, $12,500. Each time she sounded stressed, emotional, and grateful. Each time I felt the only person standing between her and a disaster, like a hero. Friends at work started asking questions. Why are you wiring so much money overseas so often? One coworker asked me. I'm helping someone I care about, I replied sharply. I didn't want their opinions. Their doubt felt like an attack. At around $120,000 total spent, I started to feel uneasy. I noticed patterns. Jesus Christ! Whoa, $120,000 to a girl you never seen before. To a girl you just met on Facebook. At the most, you've seen her on a video call. I started to feel uneasy. I noticed patterns. The crisis always resolved quickly and after I sent money. But peace never lasted. There was always another issue. I Googled scams involving Thailand and online relationships, then immediately closed the browser. This isn't that, I told myself. She's different. She talks to me every day. Right, so it's so hard to open up your eyes to the reality that you'll rather go deeper into this scam, go deeper into this financial loss, because at that state of your mind, you truly believe this is love, and there's no transaction whatsoever, and everybody on earth wants only good for you. And the fact that you're good means that everybody else will be good to you is keeping you in this state of mind. You're refusing to open up your eyes to the reality because believing in the illusion is easier. It's comfortable. Reality is uncomfortable. And somewhere deep down in this state, I'm pretty sure you already know this. Because that's what men usually do. They just keep financing the illusion because the reality they know is going to hurt. So they just spend the money, so they postpone the reality. Which, if the reality gets in a conflict with the illusion, it's always going to win. So the reality will unravel itself at some point. When I gently suggested she contributed financially or looked for local help, she cried on a video. "Do you think I would lie to you?" she asked. "If you don't trust me, my heart is broken." You know their accent. "You don't trust me?" No, hell no. I don't trust you in anything. At that point, I was no longer making decisions. I was reacting. The sunk cost was enormous, not just money, but I lost my identity. Admitting the truth would mean admitting I had been wrong about everything and I was scammed by a little chick. And that's hard. I refinanced my house and pulled out another $85,000. I told myself interest rates were low and I would rebuild later. I sent $40,000 for a restaurant she wanted to open. Then another $22,000 for renovations, then $11,500 for permits that were unexpected. When I asked for photos of the restaurant, she sent stock images I noticed. I said nothing. I felt the truth circling me constantly. At night, lying in the bed, I would think, this doesn't add up. In the morning, I would receive a loving message and the doubt would quiet itself. You're the only man who ever believed in me, she said. I didn't want to be the man who stopped believing. By the time I withdrew $90,000 from my retirement account, including penalties I pretended not to calculate, I knew. I absolutely knew. But knowing and expecting are different things. I sent $30,000 for tax issues, then $17,000 to unlock a frozen account. Right? So you're being very illogical here. Like tax issues. So you're telling me that this chick owes $30,000 in taxes? Like the girl you talked to, she never seen $30,000 of anything. Not pounds, dollars, euros, freaking yen, nothing. She doesn't know what 30,000 is of any currency. Not even rupiah. And now she's telling you that she owes $30,000 in taxes. That means that she must have made at least 150 or 200K. No way in the world this chick ever made 200K of anything. So $30,000 in taxes is already like a spit in your face. It's like she's literally laughing at you. Like you really believe that a chick from Thailand is making that kind of money that she owes 30K for taxes. This is where your logic was supposed to kick in. If not anytime sooner. Now, $17,000 to unlock a frozen account. What does that even mean? Like, if a girl tells you she needs $17,000 because her account got frozen, what does that even mean? Like she went in a debt for $17,000 and the bank locked her account? Or explain, like, to unlock a frozen account. Never heard of that. Then $25,000 when she said she could finally come visit me if I helped her to pay a travel agent. You don't need $25,000 to get from Thailand to America. That's not how it works. This is where we see that the logic of a man who's under heavy influence of emotions is out the window. He can't think clearly. He can't see things clearly. None of this makes sense, and he's still financially contributing. At around $350,000, I confronted her directly. Anya said, I need honesty. Oh, hold on, no. Anya, I need honesty. I'm starting to feel used. There was a long pause, then tears. How could you say something like this after everything we've been through together? You mean what? Talking on Facebook? That's what you guys been through? You see, like, you never even... Man, this is probably the worst story I ever heard. I've seen people lose $500,000 to a girl, but they actually lived together, and she took time, like years. I'm sure he didn't really say the time frame, how long this been going on, but this is a couple-year project for sure. Like, no chick who is a professional at scamming men will force this much expenses upon a man within a couple months. Not happening. She knows that's too much pressure. She knows the men will pull away, they will pull back, they will stop financially participating. So they usually take their time. But to keep the man in the game for years without physically seeing him, sleeping with him, kissing him, hugging him, physically showing him affection and physically showing the appreciation, I never heard of that. And especially not in these amounts. I heard people send in $10,000 to $15,000 to online girls, but man, $450K total, it's an absolute insanity. Yeah, definitely the most intense story, and I heard a lot of them. So she asked, I gave you my heart. What does that mean? You gave me a heart. Like, you guys are talking on Facebook. I sent $10,000 the next day to fix what I had broken without a reason. So he sent $10,000 just to make her feel better, to apologize what he said the day before. The final stretch happened fast. Desperation compounds. I took out a personal loan for $50,000 and I sold my stocks worth of $32,000. I even cashed out a small life insurance policy for $18,000. Each transfer felt heavier, more frantic, less joyful. The last payment was $12,800. She said it was the final step. After that, everything would be stable. After that, she disappeared. Messages went unread, calls failed, her profile vanished. I sat in my kitchen at the table staring at my phone, refreshing an empty screen. Only then did the full weight hit on me. So that's when you woke up to the reality. And in this case, it is very hard for a man not to commit a suicide. It is just an absolute insanity because you don't believe this can happen to you. I mean, with this much extreme, probably not. I mean, some chicks are pretty good at getting $5,000, $10,000 from men through the online scam. $450, no way. He truly believed they have a future together. Even though I believe at that $120K mark, he already sensed and felt internally that this is a scam. But when the realization hits, when he realizes that she blocked him, that's usually the time when men are very, very close on a borderline with a suicide. They just can't take the magnitude of this scam, how stupid they feel, how they lost their identity and dignity and pride, how a small chick, through a video, over a couple of years, convinced them to give them everything they ever worked for. He handed away the entire imperium willingly. So there's not even a legal action he can take because he was willingly sending the transfers abroad. And I already know how these scams work. It's almost impossible to recover the money. As long as it's willingly, you're good. If somebody had a gun up in his head, it's a different story. That's a crime. But willingly, it's just very hard to come back from. $450,000 gone. My savings, my retirement, my sense of competence. I didn't cry right away. I felt all hollow, like something had been removed and nothing put back. At some point, I felt like committing a suicide. Looking back, the most painful part isn't the money. Is that I saw the signs and chose comfort over truth. I wasn't ignorant. I was afraid of going back to silence, afraid of admitting that love had blinded me. Exactly. No man should ever be afraid to walk in his life alone. Otherwise, you're going to fall for things like this. Fall for the illusion of love because that's what you're momentarily craving. You're craving love. You want to be validated. You want to be pat on the back. You want to feel like a hero. You want to feel like a provider. All of these feelings are making you make decisions like this. So that's why you have to be a stoic master. Learn how to be happy within. Learn how to walk on your journey of a life alone. And if you find a good woman who's not like this, who's not the online scammer, She's a complement to your life. You don't base your entire happiness and your entire life on a relationship. It's going to become toxic. You will be too attached, too controlling. You're going to ask thousands of questions. Where have you been? Why have you been gone for so long? Show me your phone. I want to see your messages. Who is this guy? You're going to be jealous, this and that. It's all because you're too attached. You cannot be attached like this to another human being. It never works. You're going to ruin your life. You know, Machiavelli has said it pretty well. In order for a man to find a true happiness, you have to be cold-hearted at certain things. Cold-hearted and emotionless. You will find a lot of happiness there because you got to imagine your emotional battery is your life battery. If you burn the emotional batteries, you literally have no energy to do anything in life. Like if your relationship is an absolute mess and you're constantly fighting with your wife, you are absolutely exhausted. You're burned out. You don't even feel like going to work. You don't even feel like taking care of the daily responsibilities because your life batteries are drained. That's why you have to protect them. And the way you protect them is you use less emotions. Like the number one emotion you should focus on should be humor. Humor and having fun. Laughter. Laughing with your wife. Humor and jokes. This should be the primary emotion both of you guys focus on because after 9 months, the dopamine is gone. It's being replaced with the oxytocin. And oxytocin hormone, that's hormone of bonding, is boring. It's not as exciting as in the beginning. That's why a lot of people fall into the fake illusion in the beginning that they feel love like never before. No, you're just high. That's all that's happening. You feel these emotions based on the hormones that your body is producing in the presence of a woman that you're with. Or the opposite side. If you're a woman, you're getting your dopamine hit from a man. But new produces a lot of dopamine. That's why you feel so high and you confuse that with love. After about 9 months, the dopamine is gone, is being replaced with the oxytocin, which is the hormone of bond. And when humans are bonded with the oxytocin, it's boring. It's your average Tuesday watching Netflix. That's pretty much what it is. And in this oxytocin zone, you want to find some type of joy. And number one joy will be laughter. You guys joke around. You make fun of a cup of coffee, of anything. You're just constantly trying to keep humor alive so you get some dopamine hits, right? And everybody feels comfortable when they're laughing. There's no way a depressed, sad person is laughing. No, they're sad and depressed. You're only laughing when you feel comfortable. So you really just want to focus on the emotion of humor with your spouse as much as possible and use as little negative emotions as possible because that's going to drain the emotional battery. Hence, you're going to have less energy for life in general. You're not going to be able to do things in your life like you used to. So he says, I didn't fall for it all at once. All of it took about 5 years. Well, the fact that you lasted an online relationship for 5 years and you never seen her and you never traveled there and she never came to America is just mind-blowing. I fell in small justified steps. Each dollar made the next one easier. Each doubt made me double down instead of step away. Well, this is my story. I tell it now because denial thrives in a secrecy. And because sometimes the smartest people are the ones who convince themselves to be the best. No, to convince themselves the best. Yeah, well, you convinced yourself that you have future. That's the problem. And you never send money to women online. It's just not happening. For what? Gifts are for girlfriends and wives. That's it. If she's not a girlfriend, no gift. You don't give gifts to anybody else. You don't bring roses to women on a first date. None of that works. Actually, there's plenty of other stuff that we have to go through. How you trigger the attraction feeling in a woman. And no, it's not the roses like you saw it in a movie. There's a psychological game that you have to start so a woman will start fantasizing about your presence and she will start eventually fantasizing about sleeping with you. There's certain behavior that you have to apply in the dynamics between masculine and feminine energy that will actually make her want you. Your goal is always to make a woman want you, chase you. It's always the best position and the dynamic is the best between male and a female. If you are chasing a woman and you're constantly validating a woman and you're putting her on a pedestal and you're like a little worker that's constantly seeking validation and asking her for approval, she's not going to be interested. You're way too available. You're not a mystery. So that's in one-on-one relationship when you're in a woman, but you haven't even gotten there. You paid $450K for a girl that you never seen before. So the reason why I brought this story is to guys show you how important it is to accept the fact that walking alone in this life is where the happiness is. And if you're not alone and you have beautiful family, wife, and the kids around, it's a beautiful compliment. But if they weren't around, your life won't fall apart. You won't lose your identity, because people lose their own identity into relationships. They don't know who they are outside of the relationship. They are a provider, they're a father, they're a husband, but they don't know who they are as themselves with their own name. If the provider and a husband and a father status falls away, they don't know who they are, and their life collapses. And they are struggling to search for new identity. And that's when the disaster is. When you have no identity, you're going to start looking for a replacement to be a provider, father, and a husband to another woman. How about you just be yourself for a little bit? How about you figure out who you are? And after that, you're going to start dating and start being open for the relationships. And especially you got to start looking through bullshit. She's looking for $30,000 because she owes money to the government. Yeah, right. A Thai chick, $30,000, owes in taxes. Right. Because she's making $150K a year, right? And then she brought it down to like a $30K tax debt. Yeah. Or $6,700 scooter repair. These are logic things that you think about. There's no scooter that needs $6,700 for repair. There's nothing $6,700 worth on a scooter. The scooters they use, it's a couple $100. That's what they sell it and buy it for. You have to think logically. You have to see through the bullshit so you protect yourself, you know? So some of these numbers were just absolutely outrageous, where you instantly go as a man like, no, there's no way. Or a girl tells you, oh, my camera is blurry on a phone. You know, he bought her a brand new iPhone and sent her a brand new iPhone for $1,500. You just set an expectation for this woman that she can always get more. And she doesn't really have to work hard for it. Only thing she had to do to say that she needs to get a new iPhone was to say that her camera is blurry. Our brother instantly bought her a brand new iPhone. Just watch the tone that he's setting up in this relationship. She doesn't have to work for anything and she will get the money. That's why she hasn't even tried to come to America. And when she said she wants to come to America, she needed $25,000 for travel agent. Whatever the hell that means. There's, like, what is she flying? A G60? That she's coming private from Thailand to America, that she needs $25K? No, it just doesn't make sense. These numbers don't make sense. It's clearly a scam from the beginning. You have to see through it. But our brother couldn't see through it because his emotions were involved. Man needs to be a nice asshole. Unfortunately, that's what it is, brother. I mean, if you're way too nice and you believe in the illusion and you don't see reality as it is, and you believe that world is full of great and good people because you're good, you're going to end up like this. The fact that you're a good person doesn't mean that everybody else wants well for you. You know, when, especially, just like, look at the logic. We got this 55-year-old guy, right? Chick is 20. He said mid-20s, doesn't even know her real age. But let's give her a benefit of the doubt. She's 24. Now, imagine them walking the street. Him holding her hand, walking down the street. It doesn't make sense. Like, visually, it doesn't make sense. What is there connecting them? Because people always reproduce with people who are alike. Young hot chick is going to find a young hot man. That's who she's going to be physically attracted to. If she's with like a 40-year-older guy or 35, well, clearly there's no physical attraction. There must be some type of transaction while she's around. Make sense? Like, visually, just imagine them walking down the street. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. People always reproduce with people who are alike. And this is the number one thing. Like, as a 55-year-old guy, you have to be logical enough that you're looking at the situation, you're texting with a 25-year-old chick. At the best, you tell her, yeah, sure, come to America if you want to. Will you buy her a ticket? No. She needs to invest herself, because that's the only way she's going to appreciate you. You want to come see me? You think I'm cool? You really think I'm so cool as you're saying? Come to America. Buy yourself a ticket. I'll pick you up at the airport. As long as you're in America, you can stay in my house. I take care of the dinners and we can hang out. I can do that. But I'm not going to buy you a ticket. You need to invest yourself. Where guys go wrong is they do everything for women. And then women don't need to invest time, attention, or energy into the relationship whatsoever. And they know they can have a man at any point. That's unattractive. That's when women pull back and they look for the stronger man. They look for someone who they can feel attracted to, and women are attracted to power and confidence. This is not a powerful and confident behavior where you're constantly just giving her money. Another thing, you cannot purchase a female attraction. You can't purchase it. You can purchase attention, but not the attraction, the real attraction where she looks up to you from the bottom to the top. Wow, this is my hero. I respect this man. I want to follow his lead. You can't do that with the money. You can pay for the attention that you give her the money and then she's going to spend time on the phone with you or live with you for a little bit, 3-4 months, or until you run out of money. That's what the money can do. But money cannot purchase a real attraction. She's either attracted or not, but she cannot be attracted physically to a guy 35 years older than her. It just doesn't work like that. If she's going to be attracted to him, she's going to bang the gardener as soon as he leaves for a business trip. The gardener who is 22 years old, similar to her age, similar to her looks, similar to her era. Like these two guys they don't even have anything in common. Like he grew up in the era where movies, radios, songs, everything was so different versus hers. Like if she's 25, I mean, she pretty much was born with a Facebook account. Like Facebook was, what is it, 2002 since Facebook was created? Yeah, so she pretty much was born with a Facebook account. Totally different childhood than him. And these are the logical things that you analyze, right? So you don't end up losing $450K. That was his entire retirement. Plus he said he also took loans on top of the retirement. So he even got in debt because he believed. And the reason why I'm going to keep making these live streams is because, guys, this is devastating. And I have plenty of these stories. Not to this degree, where he never met the chick and he gave her this much money, but we're going to go through different stories where I'm going to describe live on a video from the story, point out where men went wrong and lost his entire empire due to blind love and blind belief. You know, I've been talking about fitness for years. My entire social media and the brand was built based on fitness. I just created this YouTube channel for long-term content. But back in Europe, I've been focusing on relationships, finances, and fitness for years. And now, this is really the first time when I'm coming to America with this type of content. And these stories, like I said, I have plenty of, and they really help because you will be able to prevent similar situations to happen to you. You know, relationships can be beautiful if you know how to set up a masculine and feminine polarity the proper way, or they can be absolutely devastating and the most exhaustive thing that you ever gone through. And I found in my personal life, the best way to learn is through other people's experiences. And when you analyze that, it allows you to open up your eyes and see reality differently. And once when you understand the power dynamics between masculine and feminine energy, you won't be able to look at the relationships the same way. You're just going to be above the beta male understanding version of human relationships. So, this was the email for today. Thank you so much for your attention. Please hit a like on the video so this video can travel further, because YouTube, Facebook, they really like when people who are watching are interfering with the content. They're leaving the comments, they're liking the video. The algorithm pushes the video further. And I'll see you